Have you ever had a dream that felt so big, so impossible, that you just buried it away? A dream that kept whispering to you, even when life told you it was impractical. Today, we're talking about Leo, a man who, like many of us, had a dream that refused to die. Leo grew up in a small town, overshadowed by a mighty mountain range. As a kid, he'd stare at those towering peaks, completely mesmerized. He dreamed of standing on top, feeling the wind whip through his hair, looking out over the world. But life happens, right? He went to school, got a job, and moved to the city. The dream of the mountains faded into a distant echo, lost beneath the noise of adult responsibilities. But here's the thing about true dreams, they never really leave us. One evening, at 32, sitting in his high-rise office, an ad caught his eye. It was for a guided expedition to climb one of those very peaks from his childhood. The thought hit him like a lightning bolt. He could still do it. The chance was right there. Instantly, the doubts came flooding in. You're too old. You're too busy. It's too dangerous. You're not in shape. It's that familiar voice of fear we all know, the one that tries to keep us safe in our comfort zone. But the truth was, he had never truly let go of that dream. And so, with a mix of fear and excitement, Leo signed up. This wasn't just a trip, it was a decision to face the what-ifs that had haunted him for years. The days leading up to the climb were a whirlwind of nervous energy. Leo hired a trainer and threw himself into a grueling regimen of running, weightlifting, and endurance work. The physical toll was intense, but what surprised him more was the mental battle. It wasn't just aching muscles he had to push through, it was that nagging voice in his head. The one telling him to quit before he even started. You're not ready, it would say. You don't belong on a mountain. But every time that voice of doubt piped up, Leo had a simple, powerful response. I'll never know if I don't try. With each training session, something inside him shifted. His body grew stronger, yes, but more importantly, his mindset transformed. He realized he wasn't just preparing to climb a mountain of rock and ice. He was preparing to face his own fears, to prove that the real obstacle wasn't the peak itself, but the limits he had placed on himself. The day of the expedition finally arrived. Leo stood at the base of the mountain, staring up at the summit that seemed impossibly far away. The air was crisp, the wind sharp. He was part of a small group led by Sarah, a seasoned mountaineer with a quiet, unshakable confidence. She gathered them together and said something that would stick with Leo for the entire journey. The mountain is indifferent to your effort. It doesn't care if you succeed or fail. It will test you. It will push you. But you have to decide how you respond. With her words echoing in his mind, they began the ascent. The first day was brutal. The trail was steep and rocky, and with every step, the air grew thinner. Leo's body ached, his muscles screamed, and every breath felt like a monumental effort. But with each step, he repeated a mantra, asterisk keep going. Just one more step. Asterisk that night, collapsing into his sleeping bag at the first camp, he was exhausted, but incredibly proud. He had survived day one. But as morning came, so did the fear. What if he couldn't continue? What if his body just gave out? Then, Sarah's other words came back to him. It's not about the summit. It's about who you become on the way up. The climb only got harder. The weather turned, the wind howled like a predator, and heavy snow began to fall. Leo's hands were raw from gripping the ropes, his legs felt like they were made of lead. His body was completely drained, but the real war was being waged in his mind. The temptation to quit was a constant companion. You don't have to do this, the voice whispered. You've come far enough. You're not a real climber. On the third night, Leo hit his breaking point. The cold was unbearable, his face numb from the wind. He had just finished another soul-crushing day and felt he had nothing left. He slumped down in the snow, his hands shaking, on the very edge of giving up. Sarah came and sat beside him in the biting cold. Leo, she said calmly, every climber has this moment. The point where the mountain feels too big, too powerful, too impossible. But the only thing that separates those who make it to the top from those who turn back is the decision to keep going. You decide. Right now. Will you quit or will you rise? Her words struck a chord deep within him. This wasn't just about a mountain anymore. This was about proving to himself that he could rise above his own fear and self-doubt. He got to his feet, wiped the snow from his face, and with a newfound resolve, he said, I'm going to keep going. I came this far for a reason. The next morning, the sun broke through the clouds as if rewarding his decision. Leo felt a renewed sense of purpose. The final push to the summit was grueling. The air was razor thin, the winds were fierce, and the snow made every step a treacherous gamble. But this time, Leo refused to let the doubt win. He was fueled by a different kind of energy now. With every step, he felt the weight of his old fears lifting. And then he could see it. The summit. Just a few more hours of climbing. As they neared the top, it felt surreal. His body was screaming in protest, his mind stretched to its absolute limit, but he knew this was it. This was everything he had worked for. The summit was no longer just a place, it was a symbol of everything he had overcome. Finally, breathless and triumphant, they stood on the peak. Leo looked out over the vast, stunning world below, and a profound sense of awe filled his chest. He had made it. But it was so much more than that. He had proven to himself that no challenge was insurmountable if you just keep pushing, keep believing, and keep going. The mountain had tested him in every way imaginable, but in doing so, it had revealed a strength he never knew he possessed. When Leo returned to his life in the city, everything felt different. The mountain had changed him. That persistent fear he had carried for years, the fear of not being good enough, not being strong enough, had simply melted away on that peak. He now understood that the only real failure is quitting. He knew that whatever challenges life threw at him next, he would face them with the same determination that got him to the summit. The climb taught him a lesson we can all take to heart. Success isn't really about reaching the destination. It's about who you become along the way. Leo's journey wasn't just about conquering a mountain of rock and snow. It was about conquering the mountains within himself. So, whatever mountain you're facing right now, a personal goal, a career challenge, or just getting through a tough time, remember Leo. The climb might be hard. It might feel impossible, but it's shaping you into someone stronger, more resilient, and more capable than you ever thought you could be. The real victory is in the decision to keep going, one step at a time, keep climbing. Thanks so much for watching. If this story resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more content that inspires you to climb your own mountains. See you in the next one.